I heard you got the fever for the flavor.
It's the flavor. It's the flavor.
I heard you got the fever for the flavor.
It's the flavor. It's the flavor.
The sound of Kick the Flavor gonna make it real funky for you. The sound of Kick the Flavor gonna make it real funky for you. Ain't it funky now? Here comes the flavor. Ain't it funky now?
Hey everyone, it's TahoeJBennett, and I'm back with a Kickstarter spotlight for a great second issue, a sophomore outing of Westron. It's the first campaign was on Kickstarter, and it funded in nearly 6 hours. Now the co-creators and co-writers are joining me to discuss their next campaign for Westron number 2, coming to Kickstarter on Monday, June 1st. Please welcome co-creators and writers Shawn McBee and Maciej Jankowski. Just going to call him MJ through this just to make things a little bit easier. But welcome, guys. How are you?
We're great. Jason, thanks for having us on.
Of course, definitely. Yeah, Shawn's coming in from Atlanta, and Maciej's over in Germany, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm 6,300 feet up in the air in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So we're covering a lot of ground and sky, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, so
all over the globe.
Yeah, hey,
that's how we do it.
You know, 3 people, 2 continents, 1 cool comic. Westron got a great look at the first issue that you had, and I can see why it was so popular. It's an exciting supernatural detective thriller. And issue 2, which thank you again for the advanced review copy. Issue 2 blew me away, and it really ramped things up. A couple of shocking reveals, and just the intensity just really picked up. First, can you kind of give us just kind of a little backstory to Westron up until the point we are, and how it leads into this, second issue's campaign?
You mean in the story, or like where we are right now in the world?
In the story.
Okay.
Story. For the success that it had from issue 1, and then how are we leading into issue 2 here, and what people can expect from this campaign?
Well, issue 1 starts with your standard, like, sort of procedural show opening with a couple of girls in the woods. Some weird stuff happens to them. One of them turns up dead. The other one's missing. And since they're just teenage girls, the police call in our detective, Jan Westron, to help find this girl because she's been missing for 3 days and she's only 14. And that is setting off memories for him of one of his dear friends that was kidnapped and murdered when he was a teenager. And that was blamed on his best friend, whom he had to try to prove, whose innocence he had to try to prove.
Yeah,
and we pick up straight from there. Basically, our first issue ends with our modern day Jan setting off to, like, accomplish this. And our flashback Jan, 15-year-old Jan, setting off to accomplish this. We have like a real mirror image kind of, both storylines end on the same note with him setting off to accomplish this. And this is where we pick up with the actual action.
There you go. And yeah, you describe it real well. And let people know issue 1, which you can also pick up in this campaign. There will be copies available for you.
Correct.
To either for add-ons or part of a tier. Issue 1 did a great job of not only getting out this story, but also you had a great prologue to kind of get us ready for what we can expect, and then a wonderful backstory on Jan Westron, and that first issue encapsulated a lot. And now here in issue 2, it's able to move past let's tell you what's happened in the past for this murder, as well as our lead detectives backstory and his history. And the second issue, they're able to jump in and just move straight forward. We do get some reveals. Like we were talking off camera, like an exciting reveal to end the issue. That's definitely like a spoiler we obviously can't talk about. And there's also a nice mid-story reveal that we learn more in these flashbacks of Jan and what he experienced. And he really seems like he's, in his search for this young girl. There's so many things that that feel reminiscent of what he experienced, and he really seems to be tormented by this case of his friend Carolina, and
Either one's fine.
okay, yeah,
I named her after my friend Carolina,
okay,
whose name is actually Carolina because she's Polish, but went by Carolina. So I'm fine with either way. I'm sure MJ prefers Carolina.
So yes, I do prefer Carolina over Carolina because that part is set in Poland. So it's unlikely that someone called someone called her with the English pronunciation.
sure, and and the first thing I thought it was Carolina, and I know that throughout both issues we find there's a lot about Poland and even mentions of Germany. I know MJ, that feels like that's kind of part of your influence into this book is that part of just growing up and what you learned and wanted it to kind of infuse it into this story, or how did those experiences make their way into this book and to both having Poland and Germany represented in this story?
Poland is represented because I'm Polish. I come from Poland, and I grew up in Poland. Was there till I was 13, and that's most of. I feel home. That's where I feel it. My home is, and for almost 10 years I've been here in Germany. I just wanted to have kind of my background because I know a bit of Germany. I got an advice: write about stuff you know, and I know Poland, I know Germany, and
No, I love it. No, and and you're right. You know what you know and be able to inject that into the story. It is a dark detective story, and I think in some of the press release or somewhere that some of the assets you sent me, you're saying there was in the tradition of Nordic Noir with some Slavic supernatural.
Yeah, our
It's
mythology is based largely in the Slavic mythology because that's what MJ was raised on. There's nothing Nordic about our story, but Nordic noir is the subgenre that most people would most closely associate the tone with.
Let people know this is issue 2. It's part of a 4-issue miniseries, but at a larger scale, it's chapter 1. Now, are you planning after this 4-issue miniseries to start? Is chapter 2 going to be a new detective story, a new job for Jan to go on and
We have 7 chapters planned
Oh, wow.
out for Jan. And each one is a different case that takes place a year or two apart from each other. And the flashbacks run throughout. So we'll always have flashbacks to earlier times in his life that sort of integrate with the story going on.
Okay.
The way they do in this issue, in different ways. But that B story, that flashback, when we are done with all 7 chapters, at this rate, when we're 90, we'll tell Jan's entire backstory from the time he's 15. It'll sort of fill in everything up to right at the beginning of issue 1. So it's going to be like an extended origin story that runs through. We could even like pull those out at the end and publish it as its own series if we wanted.
Yeah, it's like more mysteries coming out of that backstory, but then also more revealed about who he became and what he's experienced in life. That's great. And let everyone know that this first chapter is entitled Landri's Tale. That has a significance in the book. Do you want to kind of touch on Landry's Tale, how it came to be about, and the the sinister role behind the area?
That's all you, MJ.
Well, Landry's Trail wasn't there at first. It came after. At the beginning, there was some other place. It became Landry's Trail after. It became Landry's Trail after a short film that I was working on. That was called Landry's Trail and was about that trail. Got cancelled. Let's put it that way. And stuff from the script from that was integrated into the story of the first chapter of Westron, and the name of the short became the name of the first chapter.
Yeah, so essentially, MJ wanted to do this little animated scene about a girl going through the woods and encountering a creature. And we were going to do that as like a teaser. Like, he was going to do the animated thing. And then when we started working on the comic together, I was like, why don't we do that as like a teaser to put out for the comic? And then eventually, over time, as the project matured and evolved, it became part of the core comic, and then the title of the first chapter.
No, no, I love it, and there are mentions of it. It keeps getting brought up in the story, and with I know Jan was asking his what is it, his coworker, his associate, and his other detective that's in his office with him,
It's his business partner / best friend.
business partner, best friend. Okay,
He's the same kid from the flashbacks that is his friend.
oh, I must have missed when they called him by his name. This is
Philip.
Philip, the one that was, well, I don't want to say, but played his name, and he came up quite a bit in the first issue. No, I love their relationship that's starting to come up on the pages, and I'm looking forward to more as we kind of explore a little bit more with Westron private investigations. Hey, one thing I was thinking about that I saw at the end of, I think it was in the back of issue one. It had a logo for Deus, for the Doyle Academy of Investigative Studies.
Yeah.
What is that? I was looking for it, and I'm like, no. His door says Western Private Investigations. So I was curious.
So at one point in issue 2, Jan's little journal excerpt makes mention that he studied for 7 years in detective work, and Deus is where he studied. And it
Okay.
comes up more later
And
on.
this is where he got the forensic studying
Right.
and all that. Okay.
And he's an adjunct professor at their Germany branch, which is why he moved to Germany. All of that sort of starts to come in at the end of the flashback at this first story arc. And then it'll be peppered in throughout the rest of the series.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see it in the back of issue 2, but then again,
Yeah,
I
but it
know
made
you
you
said
curious, didn't it? Huh? It made you
it
want to
did.
know
That was the
more.
first thing. And like I got to the last page, I'm like, I don't remember that being mentioned. So that's why I jotted down for a note. Again, everyone, we're discussing Westron number 2. It's issue 2 of the Supernatural Detective series that there was a smash hit on Kickstarter when it debuted. One question regarding with that obviously sticks in my mind is Fandom Limb Media. So this is the publishing house that is printing this, and is this a joint collaboration with the two of you? Tell me a little bit about Fandom Limb Media.
Well, the comic is a joint collaboration. Phantom Limb Media is an LLC that I started for a podcast network that now no longer exists.
Okay.
And when it was time to self-publish, I was like, well, I've got an LLC here. If it's not being used for anything else, so we'll make it a publishing house.
You can also go to westroncomic.com. Really just kind of peruse the website and get some more details and learn more about this the story from both Shawn and MJ.
And by the time this goes live, westroncomic.com might be completely overhauled because
Oh,
that's what I'm working on right now.
okay.
And I'm kind of excited about the new design.
Nice.
It's great.
You seen an early look at it?
Yeah, I showed him a little peek of something I'm
Yeah.
working on.
Oh, cool. Cool. No, I'm looking forward to that. Let people know, I had a PDF that I'm reading, so it doesn't always translate the same in print format, whether it does or not. But regardless, this is 24 pages of story full in there when you take off the cover and the credits and I think the variant covers in there that variant cover for cover D is Aaron Thule.
Yeah.
Uh, wow. I think that one's going to sell out quick. It's beautiful to look at, but it's also haunting and chilling. But it's
I'd love to
wow.
tell you more about that. A, she's amazing. B, it is a photo cover. It does have nudity. I've been a fan of hers on Reddit for a while, and she's a Polish photographer,
Okay.
and all her photos are based in Polish mythology. Her photo sets are all based on the same kind of legends that we're tying into our comic. And as we were setting up our first Kickstarter campaign, I said, hey, now, I noticed all these other comic campaigns, the ones that are making a lot of money, are the titty cover comics. It's just smut comics taking over all of Kickstarter. It's kind of maddening. So I felt like we needed to have some titties to kind of compete a little bit, but I didn't want to just have like boobs to be
Nudity
salacious.
for the sake of nudity.
Right. So we reached out to her. We commissioned, we licensed one of her images for our D cover for issue 1, which is really striking and bloody and sold well. And so for issue 2, we commissioned a custom photo from her, which is what you see on that cover. And we're going to keep doing covers with her because it's amazing, and it's kind of a little poke in the eye to all those smut comic people. Because it's like, yeah, we got boobs too, but ours serve a purpose and are artistic and not just for the
Right.
male gaze.
Not just in your face, explicit. Hey, let's talk about the campaign itself. You have not only, like we mentioned, you'll have issue 1 available, PDF and print formats as well.
Oh, yeah.
Issue 1. Okay.
We have 4 variant covers for issue 1 still available,
Okay.
including that Arenthal cover, which is my favorite of the batch, I think. It's just very evocative.
They can be as an add-on, or do you have those in a specific tier, or both?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Basically, every variant's going to be an add-on, so you can pick whichever ones you want. We'll have bundles. And of course, with an issue 2, you have to have a get caught up bundle.
Sure.
So that'll include issue 1 and issue 2, so people don't have to, just buy issue 2 and get lost.
Well, right, and it definitely helps, and you'll actually see the progression from issue 1 to issue 2 really well, and I highly recommend picking up both if you can, if you didn't back the first campaign.
After the first campaign, we wanted to try to build up more of a following before we launched again,
Right.
But we weren't making a lot of headway in like the follower count on Kickstarter, and it came to the point where it's like a year from the first campaign. And it was like, oh no, we need to launch. We're scrambling a little bit to catch up because we just realized, oh my God, we need to launch because we can't go more than a year. We went into this whole thing with the intention of launching on a pretty regular schedule.
Okay.
Eventually, we'd like to get up to 1 a month, like like a comic book.
Sure. And this is just issue 2 of a 4-issue miniseries, and like you mentioned, you have 7 chapters in the works, or at least thought of, and
we're not gonna do this big wait in between thing. We're learning as we go. You see, you've already read it, so issue 2 is done.
Right.
The campaign is really to fund issue 3. We're gonna move straight into that and get 3 and maybe even 4 running by the end of the year. would be ideal. 3 for sure. We're gonna get it by the end of the year.
So the funding for this campaign is going to issue 3, but is any going to the actual production of the books, like printing?
Yes. So the idea is that this campaign will fund printing for issue 2
Okay.
and art for issue 3. And
Okay,
if we make
gotcha.
enough, printing for issue 3.
So once
We're
this thing's funded and all the backers, the funds have been transferred and everything, this is going straight to the printer.
correct.
Awesome.
Our first campaign, we had a much lower goal, which we knew was less than what we would need,
Right.
but we hit the goal in 6 hours. And so now we're putting it to a more realistic goal, and hopefully we'll beat that. Because on the last campaign, even though we had about $2,500 was what we made, that barely didn't quite cover making number 2. And then printing had to come completely out of pocket for number 1. So now we're hoping the comic can pay for itself moving forward
Well,
because we put
2,500 seems like a fairly easy target goal for this issue too, especially with the success of number 1. I mean, and by comparison, for a lot of campaigns, it's kind of on the lower end, shooting for sky high targets, but it should be
we like to keep it
attainable.
realistic. We really want to do that thing where we fund real fast. That's why
Yeah.
we're incentivizing funding on day 1 so that we can relax. We know the campaign's going to happen.
Right.
Every penny we make is going to go back into the comic until it's making way, way more than it is now.
Sure.
The comic owes us a lot of money that we're not going to see for quite some time because we just want to get the comic out there.
Nature of the business. You'd be surprised how many people have told me that. It was their situation too. Hey, I want to talk about your creative team real quick. You have 2 different artists. You have a colorist, but also one of your artists, Matias, also does colors on his own work. Tell us a little about the rest of your creative team and who's on board with this second issue here.
Our primary artist is Nicolas Nieto, who we absolutely adore. He's just really great at the dark, creepy stuff, especially once we get into issue 3. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
For our publisher pitch, we did some pages from issue 3, so we know what his art's going to look like for that.
Right.
I'm very excited.
It's beautiful.
You guys should back this just so that you can make sure that issue 3 comes out.
It's that good.
Yeah. Anyway, Nicholas is great. We found him on Reddit on our comic book collabs. It's a great subreddit for anyone looking to find artists or writers for their art or whatever. We found
I
him
know
there.
a lot of people go to Facebook groups and things like that. Is Reddit a better place for something like that? Do you
I
find?
would say Reddit is a better place than Facebook, full stop.
Okay. Okay.
It's also a worse place. Reddit is multitudes. But that particular subreddit was fantastic and helped us find Nicholas, and he's great. Then he helped us find Matias because they're friends.
Oh, okay.
They live in the same town in Argentina. And so so Matias does the flashbacks. And when we have a linking between the current story and the flashback, they can actually collaborate with each other. And you see that in issue 2, where we have the one shot of Jan standing in front of the cabin and then young Jan standing in front of a different cabin.
Right. Right.
Linking those 2 stories together through that similar experience. And yeah, so that ties together really well. So Nicholas does his own, does the pencils and inks, and then his wife is his colorist.
That's Carla.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So she's coloring Nicholas's work, and then Matias does his own work because he has typically a smaller page count. And so we don't need to, we can still get the comic done in a timely fashion with him doing his own colors.
it was the issue that really, for me, in reading and viewing it, it really jacked up the color work. There was just some amazing shots with a lot of the gradients, with the the kind of pink and orange hues that you had going there for one. I think it was the flashback scene. It just really made it just that story just pop. Some of the intensity from the color work alone just added so much dimension and depth to that scene and that whole flashback. So kudos on your colors too. Not only is the artwork great throughout, but the color work, it just really, it showed the significance of having good color art in your work, that what a colorist can really bring to change a tone, the mood, or whatever you're looking for. And it really came out in issue 2 here. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the interview so far. Due to the extended length of this feature interview, it will be split into 2 parts, so be sure to watch for part 2 very soon, and be sure to check out Westron 2 live now on Kickstarter. You can visit the campaign at westron.fandomlim.com and jump on in. It's just funded, and now it's time to reach some stretch goals.